you own a detached single family home or know someone who does, or you live within 800 meters of a transit stop, whether bus or skytrain, then you are definitely gonna want to watch this video, because whether you know it or not, BC has released some massive new housing policies and changes that are going to affect all the neighborhoods that we live in. And in this video, I'm going to share with you what is the Multiplex Plan that the province has released. What are the things that they're doing to execute? What is it going to change? How is it going to change our neighborhoods? And what most people are interested in is how it is going to change prices on homes. My name is Jonathan Lerner with the Vancouver Life Real Estate Group, and our team here, we get calls, we get texts, we get emails every single day from people just like you that are looking at moving into the city of Vancouver or its surrounding suburbs, or are just making a shift from Vancouver and into a different product type. And we absolutely love helping make that move as smooth as possible. So if that sounds like you and you're trying to make some changes and want some questions answered, then please reach out, give us a call, send us a text, send us an email, or write down in the description of this video, schedule a Zoom call with us. And we'd love to be able to find out a little bit more about your situation and how we might be able to help through that process. But until then, let's dive into this video. Vancouver is really taking the lead in executing this multiplex plan that the province has announced. Now, this is province-wide, so this is definitely something that is going to change all the neighborhoods throughout the province. And as long as the municipality where you live has more than 5,000 residents in that area, then this is going to affect you and your city. So I'm gonna start diving into what is this Plex plan, how are they starting to execute it, and what are some of the reasons why, and what have they started doing already to implement that? And then what is that potentially gonna look like in terms of prices and the current cost of homes right now, and what it might do in the future as well. Last year in 2023, the city of Vancouver removed all single family zoning types throughout the entire city. So essentially what that means is that the zoning of what you can build on a particular lot, the single family home has been removed from all zoning types. And so it can basically, any lot can be developed for a duplex or greater depending on the size of the lot. So if you take a look at this map right here, all the turquoise blue is larger lots, and all the other yellow that you see on that map are standard lots. And so this entire area of the city can be developed with this new Plex plan based off of the shape and the size of the lot that are just going to limit the size that you can build upon. The whole reason for this new housing policy to be implemented in the province of British Columbia is to increase density and to allow more people to enter into the city. Because last year in 2023 alone, Canada brought in over 1.2 million people into the country. And it was just over 1 million the year before that. And so we've had massive amounts of population growth in the country, and we were already in a housing shortage. And now we're continuing with large levels of immigration with not enough supply to be able to handle this. So this is one small way to be able to start to increase and densify our cities throughout the entire province and allow more housing options. So let's pull up, what do these look like? So right here is an image of some of the potential designs that you could see of these multiplex units. And you'll see basically two options. One is gonna be their one large building separated into 3 to 4 units, or you're gonna have two structures where one larger structure is 3 or 4 units, and there's a secondary structure that is going to house 1 or 2 units. These are going to be the most common structures that you're going to be able to see of this style, because essentially what the province is saying right now is that you could build up to 6 units, depending on the size of the lot, that could be sold potentially individually. And they are saying that you could build up to 8 lots, but 8 units. But if you built 8 units, they would have to be rentals only. And so there's a lot of rules that are missing here that we are unaware of at this point in terms of what the final details are that are really gonna change this potential opportunity. However, based off of right now, this is kind of what we're looking at. A minimum of 3 units can be built on majority of any lot, upwards of 6 based off of the size. Now here's a couple of the renderings of what they could look like. So you saw the initial kind of designs, and now this is what they could look like from a real life perspective. And there's a few different options here to be able to just get an understanding of how these could potentially look within our new neighborhoods. And these are, again, they're allowing still design, they're allowing design forward ideas here to be able to change the aesthetics. So it's not just your exact typical Vancouver special that you typically see here for a lot of those older homes. And however, it looks like this is essentially kind of the new version of the Vancouver special that we are starting to move towards. Now, there's many people that this can cater to in terms of being a benefit to. So if you're a current homeowner, there's a couple of options here, especially if you don't have a mortgage on your property. This could be a great opportunity if you want to downsize. Maybe the kids have moved on and you want to downsize into a smaller property so you're not taking care of a big home. Take the home, tear it down, redevelop it, whether it's 4 units, 5 units, 6 units, and then you can downsize into one of the units and sell the other remaining units. Or sell it to a developer that's willing to go through that whole process, or be able to sell, maybe keep 1 or 2 units for your kids and then sell the other remaining units there. Another opportunity to be able to do that. Or you look at the opportunity of being an investor and then buying single family lots to be able to do this development on. And so there's a few different options here as well. And then if you live close to a SkyTrain station or a bus station that they're considering a frequent transit stop, meaning basically stops about every 15 minutes or so or less, then essentially those you can have significantly more density closer to those transit oriented areas. And I'll get into that just a little bit further on in this video. But as you look into the details of this plan, one big term that you're going to see, which is a bit of an unknown because it's not been finalized yet, is FSR, or floor space ratio. And essentially what it does is it dictates how big of a structure you can build on the lot that you have. So if you have a 1,000 square foot lot, well, maybe you could build 70% of that. So you could build a 700 square foot structure on that lot. Most lots, the most common lot is 33 by 122 in Vancouver here. So you're looking at about a 4,000 square foot lot. You could build upwards of a 3,000 to 4,000 square foot structure and maybe pay an extra dollar per square foot to be able to increase the size a little bit more. So they have some different rules of not having any additional fees up to a certain amount. But if you're going to be developing and you're going to be selling these on the other side of this development stage and building, well, then it makes sense to pay a small fee per square foot to gain the additional square footage to build and then have a higher dollar per square foot sale down at the end on the other side. So again, essentially in the city of Vancouver, we have a 0.7 and a 1.0 FSR allotment. So if you have a 1,000 square foot lot, you could build up to 700 square feet. If you pay an extra dollar per square foot, for the remaining 30% or 0.3, then you could have a 1,000 square foot lot and you could build a 1,000 square foot structure. Now, every city, every municipality is different. That is just the city of Vancouver numbers, and that's what they are currently, and those could change. So by June 30th, we're gonna have, that's the deadline for all these specific rules and details to be hashed out and finalized. And so, but this is currently what it looks like, and we are seeing some very profitable numbers even with these numbers right now. And again, time will tell in terms of what the cities and the province dictates of what the final kind of rules and bylaws are around this. A big point of argument that is coming up with this Plex plan is that if you are within 800 meters of a frequent transit stops every 15 minutes, so it could be a SkyTrain or a bus, there is no parking requirements in those areas. And so an 800 meter radius around any frequent transit stop do not have any parking requirements. So normally, a home would have a minimum number of parking stalls of 1 or 2 spots depending on the size of the lot. And so this makes a big change because if you have, say, 6 different units, maybe a couple of them are 2 bedrooms, you're looking at least probably 6 to 8 people in that home, and you had 0 parking. So that's obviously a point of contention for a lot of people. The city is saying that they're going to improve transit access and have more options there, and it's incentive to be able to use the public transit instead of having a car. So they're trying to push that aspect of it in as their way of increasing density and not having to improve the parking situation, which is going to create a lot of congestion in some areas and make it definitely hard to be able to find a parking spot. So that is definitely one thing for a lot of people that's creating some contention of is this going to be feasible or not. However, when it comes to the development side, it makes a massive difference to be able to, again, be profitable on the other side, because now instead of all that space used for a garage or a parking spot in the back, even if there's no roof over it, that is now buildable space that you can build upon. So again, it comes to making a better investment potential for those that are current homeowners or investors, developers, to be able to capitalize on this extra square footage that you can then build. Another big thing that got introduced in 2023 was Bill 47, which introduced transit-oriented areas. And essentially what it did is that pre-zoned any area around a frequent transit stop, again, stops every 15 minutes, whether it's bus or SkyTrain, it pre-zoned those areas for high density, which essentially means a minimum of 8 to 40 stories could be built anywhere within 800 meters of a frequent transit stop. And so this makes a massive difference. So for example, if you take a look at the BC assessment value of your home or any home, and you look at that, you're going to see two different numbers. You're going to see, obviously you're going to see the total value, but that's going to be broken down into two sections. One is the land value and one is the building value, or the improvements upon the land that you've made. And that land value is not based off of what is currently built on the land. It's based on what the latent value of the land is, or the potential of what it could be. So if you have a single family detached home that's in an area that is zoned for high density condo, well, that land is not being used to its best and highest value. And so what that means is that the land value is going to be significantly higher than maybe even a property, the exact same, even with a bigger house on it, 2 blocks away outside of that 800-meter radius, could be valued at a much lower price point, because now you're no longer in that high density zone. And because you could build significantly higher density in that area, now you have much higher land value. So this is exactly what's going to happen for all those areas that are within that 800-meter radius of a transit stop. Those land values are very likely going to go up, and even more so, that's a little bit up for debate of how much those will go up. But if you're within 400 meters, that's their other radius that they have, the inner circle of 400 meters within a transit stop, you could very, very, very likely bet that every single one of those properties, the land value there is going to go up, which is going to increase the value of your home. And so, or the value of being able to buy a home in those areas, especially if you are looking to invest and develop as well. So again, these are all things that we just don't know yet, but these are things that are very likely going to happen if we are increasing the density that you can have up to 40 stories within 400 meters of a transit stop. Well, you can guarantee you're going to have developers knocking on your door in those areas, asking you to be able to sell your home so they can tear it down and build a high-rise condo, because of the value of that land to be able to sell units on the other side of that development. On top of that, if you are within those transit-oriented zones, this is a quick checklist for you that will really, if your property checks these boxes, this is what the ideal investor is going to be looking for this type of property to potentially develop on, or just understanding if it's your property that you had that potential to be able to develop on it as well. And the higher value things that you want to look for are a lot that has 50 feet of frontage as opposed to the 33-foot standard that we typically have here in Vancouver. If you have a larger 33-foot frontage, more than that, then that's going to create a lot more development potential. Then on top of that, if you have a regular shaped lot, instead of a triangular shape, if you have a back lane access, that is huge. There's no creeks or significant trees in the area. If the land is flat, and if you are walkable to amenities. These together are going to drastically increase the potential and the potential value of the land and your ability to develop that land as well. So this was a very high level look and description of the Plex plan, and I hope it gives you a little bit more understanding of what it is all about, why we're doing it, and some of the potential benefits that could come on the other side, especially if you are a current home owner. Now, all these benefits could be negated by future rules and bylaws and specifics details that the province municipality put into effect regarding this plan. So this could be an amazing opportunity, and it could be an opportunity that could be squashed in terms of the rules that they put into place here. And so really none of this is speculation at this point. It's just, hey, this is kind of what's out here currently. If some of these rules come in that could be positive and could work in our favor, well, then there could be some drastic, huge benefits for you, especially if you are a homeowner. And so if you are looking to sell a detached home and you kind of check off some of those things in the checklist, the flat land, the regular shaped lot, more than 33-foot frontage on your property, then walkable access to amenities and transit and things like that, that could be a big game changer for you. And you might want to wait. If you're thinking about selling, you might want to wait until after that June 30th deadline to see if that is going to create a massive change in terms of what the potential of your property holds. And so if you're interested in learning a little bit more, or if you want to stay up to date about the things that are happening, the rules that are being released, the talk and the news that is being shared, then please reach out to me, go down in the comments below, let me know, or reach out to me at my info, my number, my email. A Zoom call is all down below in the description there, and you can contact me and I'll put you on our VIP list to understand all the updates that are happening with this Plex plan, and as they get introduced, you'll be the first to know. Whether you like this Plex plan idea or not, ultimately, it's going to be a part of our life moving forward, and our city has changed drastically over the last 20 years, and it's going to change even more so in the coming 20 and 30 years. And it's just higher density and smaller spaces, less cars, in terms of access to cars and using them throughout the city is going to be a main thing, because it's the only way that we have to be able to accommodate more people into the city. And again, Vancouver is just a worldwide destination that people want to come here. And despite the cost of living being insanely high and cost of homes being very, very, very high, it's still a very attractive place to live for many people worldwide. And so this is the nature of our city and where it's moving. So again, whether you like it or not, it is something that is going to happen with or without you. And so it's being aware of this, and where does it make sense? Can you make any moves within this industry to be able to capitalize on that and put yourself in a better spot as a result? So have an amazing day, everyone. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll see you on the next video. It is time to live the Vancouver life.